The Unseeming and black blood have been a reoccurring subject of my videos. The black blood of the old gods has a long history in WoW, going back to the time when Y'Shaarj was plucked from the earth and annihilated in the process. It is said that in his dying breaths he cursed the land, and when he died his body exploded, scattering his pieces across Azeroth. His tissues, his blood, his heart. While he was plucked from the side of the Well of Eternity, it appears his death occurred over Pandaria, as the world rotated, because his curse, heart, and blood are exclusively contained there. But it might be the case that his curse only persisted in proximity to his heart, which is said to be the only thing left preserved. The Akir that traveled to Pandaria were warped, twisted, and begun to worship Y'Shaarj, despite arriving long after his death. And Garrosh was convinced that an ancient artifact of power lay below the veil when he ordered his goblins to excavate it in the Dark Heart scenario, so Y'Shaarj's heart still had some corrupting influence beyond his prison. The heart is the muscle which pumps blood, and the taint on the ground of Pandaria where the Shah emerged from has a thematic parallel to the ground corrupted by the black blood under Khazalgar. I think that the curse of the land is the lingering presence of his blood that emerges from the earth in the presence of negative emotion. The old gods repeatedly whisper that they feed on terror, fear, anger, and when Illyria ponders why Xal'atath has lured them there to fight the Nerubians, Xal'atath says,
"You lured us here, unleashed us upon the Nerubians, all to fuel the Black Blood's power. My power."
The Shah may be the black blood of Y'Shaarj that in proximity to his heart bubbles up to the surface in the presence of negative emotion, and that while it faded elsewhere it would appear exclusively in Pandaria as the timeless problem affecting the Pandaren. In lore though, it says the bits of his mangled corpse spread across the world, so his blood would have been contained in the oceans and the supercontinent of Kalimdor before the Sundering. Closer to the heart, we can find the black blood of Y'Shaarj. It bleeds from his prison, and its effects on mortal life are seemingly immediate on an unfortunate goblin. The affected goblin, now named Avatar of Y'Shaarj, will say,
"My blood hungers."
And when defeated, he mutters,
"I only sleep."
This scenario is the prelude to Siege of Orgrimmar. Garrosh pushes the heart into the life pools of the Veil to revive or empower it, and then takes the heart back to Orgrimmar with him. This causes the final Shah to appear, the Shah of Pride. The effects of the heart's corruption on his forces are ghastly, and assumingly an effect of Y'Shaarj's black blood, because after we defeat the corrupted Garrosh, he has a trinket named the Black Blood of Y'Shaarj. Quote, "Anger, fear, hatred. These are the true weapons of the Horde." When Aman'Thul slayed Y'Shaarj by tearing it out of the planet's crust and ripping it apart, its remains fell back on the land of Pandaria, and its essence would spawn the Shah. The last drop of Y'Shaarj's living essence appears after we defeat Garrosh, the last fading breath. Quote, "All that is left of the old god Y'Shaarj's heart after the defeat of Garrosh. It eventually fades from existence." End quote. The seven great Shah are analogous to the seven heads of Y'Shaarj, and they were given name and form by the last emperor of the Pandaren Empire, Shah-Ho. The emperor sought to protect the land of Pandaria from great sundering and shrouded the land in a thick mist. To do so, he plucked from his mind and soul the impurities of his mind and spirit, such as fear, doubt, hate, and with the shrouding of Pandaria, pride. These things which he removed from himself did not simply evaporate, their essence would coalesce, feeding the Shah. When we take the Fading Breath quest item to Lorewalker Cho, we get a Stay a While and Listen, marking the ending of the Pandaria storyline. In the Fading Breath's associated quest, Lorewalker Cho talks to the spirit of the last Pandaren Emperor, who shrouded Pandaria in the cloud of mist. The Emperor says, "To fight out of fear or anger is to fight a war that never ends. Face your fears, calm your hatreds, find peace within yourself so that you may share it with the world around you." End quote. After the heart is drained of its power, withered away, and its essence fading from morality, the Shah of Pandaria have disappeared entirely after the events of Pandaria. Serenite is an element that lines the continent of Northrend. Those in close proximity to it are driven to madness. It is known to be the blood of Yogg-Saron. His black blood runs through the whole continent, crystallizing into Serenite and corrupting all that it touches. His whispers escape with the Serenite, tempting many to madness. It first appeared across Azeroth around year -4500 in areas in Ashenvale, Crystal Song Forest, Veralis Duskwood, and the hinterlands. It was eradicated with the help of Fandral Staghelm, which is a topic covered in my Freya lore video. In my Freya video, I talked about how the world trees were effective at scouring the black blood from regions they inhabited, and that it is why it is not found outside of Northrend by the time of Wrath. The crystallized black blood, known as Serenite, poses incredible properties known to be highly resistant to physical damage and nature magic, but the wiki notes its strength is not written consistently, as Sylvanas' arrows are able to pierce Arthas' Serenite armor, and Uther was able to damage it with a hammer of light. The effects of mining raw Serenite is well observed in game. It drives those near it mad, gripped by terror, consumed by rage, or even offering themselves to it. People who spend time with Serenite Mine in central Icecrown Citadel will receive a number of in-game whispers, including, quote, "They are coming for you. You are a pawn of unseen forces. They've turned against you. Now take your revenge. Give in to your fear." End quote. The Scourge's captured victims that are still alive might be forced to labor in the pit of Saren, forced to work to death as the Serenite drives them mad.
Please, no more. I can't handle any more of this.
Those that attempt to flee are murdered by the Scourge, and all that die within the pit are raised as undead to continue their work, unearthing and hauling the Serenite from the pit in furtherance of the Lich King's armaments and munitions. While the undead do not appear to be affected by the psychological effects of Serenite, Serenite weaponry notably is able to destroy and scar the soul of those struck by it. It is for this reason that Sylvanas chose to jump from the top of Icecrown to impale herself on the many spikes piercing the sky. The Naraki faceless ones that serve the old gods may be created with or imbued with the black blood of Yogg-Saron, as General Vexaz, quote, gives off Serenite vapors and then says the black blood of Yogg-Saron courses through me, and it is shown to be coursing through their veins. In the deserts of Silithus, and sometimes the lands that surround it, we find flesh craters which are jealously guarded by expansionist Acure. The Acure are an intelligent insect race that, like the Naraki, rose from the organic matter seeping from the old gods, massive bulks during the primordial era of Azeroth. They are closely related to the Karaji, who aided Cthulhu in taking over his prison of Ahn'Qiraj and corrupting the Anubisat Guardians. The Acure diaspora across the lands would lead over time to the Mantid and Nerubians. The Acure that settled in Pandaria were changed in the worship of Yasharaj into the Mantid, while the Acure that largely settled in Northrend became the Nerubians. The hives of the Acure that serve Cthulhu are fleshy tunnel systems with sphincters, sinew, and amber flesh sacs hanging from the ceilings. These burrows closely resemble the corruption of the land beneath Khazalgar and may be a result of his blood seeping from his prison that the Acure shape and occupy to grow their forces and spread his corruption. Prior to Ny'alotha, the players only encounter one pure-blood Acure. Born from their blood, he is known as Zekvaz, and he bears the abilities of 3 of the old gods. The Eye of Cthulhu penetrates the soul of its targets. The ominous clouds of Serenite gas of Yogg-Saron corrupt and summon into the world his guardians, and the will of Inzoth decimates the minds of its victims. Stage 1 representing Cthulhu as chaos, Stage 2 representing Yogg-Saron as deception, and Stage 3 representing Inzoth is termed corruption. The creature spawned from the black blood of the old gods joined Zekvaz in battle, the Silitha Karaji warriors, the faceless Naraki, and Nerubians. The spawn of the old gods were laborers forced to erect giant structures in honor of the old gods and to fill out the Black Empire.
Follow him to the deep places. The dark waters will fly. Know you. What you were. What you will yet be.
The final quest concluding the Thaladris storyline in Dragonflight near the end of the Forgotten Isles campaign is called Back to the Future. In it, we are transported back in time to the time of the Black Empire. While there, we receive whispers from 4 different sources. With the context given by Zekvaz's ability, we can discern them. Piercing Presence, Yasharaj. Maddening Presence, Yogg-Saron. Observing Presence, Cthulhu. Knowing Presence, Inzoth. They whisper to us. Inzoth, the knowing presence, is the only one with new whispers, and he says, I know you, what you are, what you will become. Deeper, deeper its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. With many eyes they will see again, they will drink and be uplifted. You will follow him to the deep places, the dark waters will flow in his wake. Her dreams sing beneath the surface, our dreams, our song. Finally, there is Gahun, who I've talked about extensively in previous videos on related topics, so I will keep it brief here. Gahun is created from experiments of the Titans on the old god's blood. He and his worshippers wield vile blood magics, and Gahun's whispers are often ignored by the larger WoW community, who don't seem to interpret him as being significant in any way. Some of Gahun's whispers are highly relevant to the war within, especially being that he is an amalgamation of the black blood of all the old gods and has sentience. I recommend watching my last video regarding Il'gynoth and Gahun's whispers. Gahun makes references to the seals, which can refer to many things in the old god's infinite truths, referring first to the seals of his prison, and second to the dormant black blood that was dislodged when Sargeras stabbed the planet, allowing it to flow freely. A few of the things he says are, quote, You will be the first to receive my gift. I will give your flesh purpose. Give in to the hunger. Feed on their blood. This world will be covered in a giant bubbling cyst, and my rot will spread across the cosmos. The seal is broken, the titans are gone, the era of rot begins. End quote. But let's return to those quotes that Inzoth fed us in Dragonflight. Deeper, deeper its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. The roots of Elunahir, the rootlands. With many eyes they will see again, they will drink and be uplifted. The Nerubians. You will follow him to the deep places. The darkness will flow in his wake. Possibly Farak, but maybe Eridikron. Her dreams sing beneath the surface, our dreams, our song. The radiant echoes, the discordant memories, the discordant within the unseeming. The final topic of this video. I theorized before that the unseeming are the void-tainted memories of the world soul. I still believe that. It is corruption of her dreams, her song, and her memories of corruption. There's a reoccurring theme among the old gods' whispers and bodies. The eyes, and their sleeping.
Eyes are the windows to the soul. Shutter them forever. All eyes are opened. Yours were the first. I only sleep.
Inzoth particularly has many whispers about opening eyes. There are two other instances of eyes that I want to reference here, though. 1. The artifact lore for Scepter of Sargeras. Sargeras had a vision. The Well of Eternity imploded again, but this time it dragged him down to the very core of Azeroth. He saw Azeroth's slumbering world soul, and in that moment the world soul opened one eye and gazed at the Titan. He was enraptured. 2nd, and the subject of my next video is a part of my video on the element of spirit. There's a tale in the Tauren mythological canon called Eyes of the Earth Mother. The Earth Mother is a personification of the world soul. She has 3 children. First are twins, Anshi the sun, and Musha, the larger of Azeroth's 2 moons. While still young, the Earth Mother put her children into her eyes so that they would be safe in her sight. As they grew, the Earth Mother bid her children to watch over the world and shine their light to ward off the corrupting shadows while she slept. The shadows crept over the land, corrupting the prehistoric Tauren Yongle. Startled by this, her children woke her. The Earth Mother wept with the knowledge she herself and her creations were not immune to the corruption of the shadows, and her tear fell to the earth. That tear would grow into Lo Sho, the personification of Azeroth's 2nd smaller moon, which the twins find on their quest to purge the land of shadows. Anshi is injured in battle with the darkness, and though Musha is able to heal the wound, she is not able to stop the wound from bleeding. The Earth Mother finds them and says that Musha's presence will prevent Anshi's death as long as she is near. Anshi's bleeding is the explanation for dusk and dawn to the Tauren. In order to stop the darkness, the Earth Mother ripped out her eyes and put them into the sky to give light to the world and ward off the shadow, and then sacrificed herself to the earth. I'll put a pin in that for when I return to this story in the video about the element of spirit. The larger moon of Azeroth, called Musha by the Tauren and the Pale Lady by the Night Elves, is closely associated with Elune. The WoW Wiki even redirects from the Pale Lady to Elune as a hyperlink. The druids of Azeroth revere the White Lady in one form or another, and she's closely tied to nature magics. The tale said that the moon and sun act as the eyes of the world soul and are children she gave birth to. Moonlight is a special type of light, which Nelf druids have access to, as well as sunbeam and moonbeam. Druid practitioners of Elune can call in star showers, arcane, fire, and powers of life to heal or rend flesh. I imagine Losho, the third moon and tier of the Earth Mother, is associated with arcane, while Anshi, fire and light, and Musha, nature and water, as these are all mentioned in relation to the celestial bodies in the tale. And the collection of worship of these three things are why druids have access to the varied magical types. In my Titan Keeper Freya video, I bring up the possible origins of the dream in Chronicles. It is said that the dream is something that was already there, but that Freya gave shape to it for a few reasons, including as a way to commune with the sleeping world soul. The Emerald Nightmare is the old god's corruption of that dream, of the untainted and pure world, a realm which Elune and her children, the wild gods, bear strong links to. In this way, it is Yogg-Saron's version of the dream. During the fight with Yogg-Saron, we were also taken into his mind and showed dreamy memories of world events which he played a role.
I am the lucid dream, the monster in your nightmares,
the fiend of 1,000 faces. Cower before my true form! Bow down before the god of death!
The sleeping city of Nyalotha is, quote, it depicts a future in which the old god's ancient Black Empire has been restored and completely conquered Azeroth, and thus it reflects the manifestation of all the old god Inzoth's goals and his visions for the future of Azeroth made real. After being freed from his Titan prison during the Fourth War, Inzoth began to tear down the veil separating Nyalotha from the physical world in order to merge the two realities into one, and thereby transform Azeroth into the Black Empire. This would also erase all that previously was, end quote. Nyalotha is Inzoth's dream of the world, and creatures of the old god that die return to Nyalotha, similarly to how demons return to the Twisting Nether, or how dragons return to the dream, and wild gods to Ardenweald to be cultivated and reborn. In Pandaria we encounter the dreams of Yar-Sharaj twice, once in the Terrace of Endless Spring, and once more in the Siege of Orgrimmar. In the Terrace of Endless Spring we first encounter a celestial dragon that is infused with the powers of sun and light. It defends the terrace against the corruption before falling to it. When it is corrupted, it shifts between two states. In its night form, it brings about the dark of night, exhumes a breath of shadow, and afflicts the players with nightmares. During the day, it uses powers of the light, referred to as solar energy, to aid the players in dispelling the darkness. However, the night brought by Silong is only a shadow of what is ahead, the Shaw of Fear. The seven greater Shaw mirror the seven heads of Yar-Sharaj, and were given form by the late final emperor of the Pandaren Empire. Seeking to consume the Terrace of Endless Spring's light energies, it is the source of the corruption. When fighting the Shaw on heroic difficulty, the players will be taken to another realm, the Dread Expanse. The Shaw of Fear in the Terrace of Endless Spring retreats to this nighttime realm. The Dread Expanse is a permanently nighttime realm of endless water, mists, and storms of Shaw energies that coalesce above. Finally, there is the dreamy, shadowy realm of Yar-Sharaj. During the fight with Garrosh in Siege, he absorbs the power of the heart into himself and wields a corrupted version of his axe, Salito. In the intermission phase, Garrosh says, anger, hatred, fear. These are the weapons of war, tools of the war chief.
Anger, hatred, fear. They are weapons of war. The tools of a war chief.
And then we are taken to another world where Garrosh siphons the power of the heart.
Yes. Yes, I can see it now. I can see the future of this world. A world ruled by the Horde. My Horde. The Old One calls to you.
It is a shadowed, dreamy, cursed realm within his heart, and it bears the Shaw and markings of the corrupted ground they are associated with. Garrosh tells us of visions he has had, gifted by the heart, and that our eyes are not open.
The true Horde will come to pass. I have seen it. It has shown me. I have seen mountains of skulls and rivers of blood, and I will have my world! You think you have won? You are blind! I will force your eyes open!
Finally, In Oshkehit, when you stand in the Blackblood, you acquire stacks of the Unseeming and are granted visions of the old god's minions and corruption from realities not our own. Among the names of the enemies, we see Discordant as a descriptor of what they are, as well as sometimes already dead NPCs named Forgotten. The bloodbound horror that forms in the congealing pools below Oshkehit is able to create faceless ones from the Unseeming, which aid him in battle, and his devastating frontal sends us into the Unseeming, where we must do battle with the creatures of the Unseeming. The Dungeon Journal says that upon returning to reality, we are scarred and take more damage. We see the descriptor of the Discordant one other time in the World Soul Memories. It is the highest form of difficulty. The discordant aberrations of the Unseeming bear similar void-tainted visual effects similar to the enemies of the World Soul Memories. And I would like to bring up the whispers N'Zoth gave to us when we time traveled to the time of the Black Empire in Dragonflight. Quote, "I know you, what you are, what you will become. Deeper, deeper its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. With many eyes they will see again, they will drink and be uplifted. Her dreams sing below the surface, our dreams, our song." My theory is that the unseeming aberrations of the World Soul's void-tainted memories are corrupted dreams, and from these the old gods rove into being their own realms, which we have visited in the presence of their blood and essence. Her dreams sing beneath the surface, our dreams, our song. The Radiant Song is the cry giving visions to mortals like Thrall and Anduin. Gun is the old god made artificially through the Titan's Dart experiments to change the old gods, their tissues, their bloods, their desires. The combined black blood of the old god pulls under the surface of the world. It was dislodged by Sargeras' sword stab in Legion. The older raid where Gun is takes place right after Legion, and Gu tells us the seals are broken, that he will spread to consume the world, and to come receive his gift. The Curse of Flesh is the method by which the old gods corrupted many Titan forged into fleshy mortals, and though its mastermind Yogg-Saron is long dead, and this knowledge known to us, Yasharaj, Gun, and N'Zoth all take their time to tell us that the Curse of Flesh is a gift and that they created us. Where the black blood flows, we see new malicious life spring up, eye stalks, tainted fauna, bubbling cysts. The black blood is turning the earth to flesh, as Gun predicted. Perhaps the Curse of Flesh unto the planet is the means by which the old gods consume the world soul. The old gods were said to be massive, with their bodies spanning countries or continents. They were growing across the land to consume the planet, but only one could succeed. That is why the Black Empire fought amongst itself. They all sought to consume the same prize. Though Yasharaj seemed that he might win this conflict, the conflict between them delayed the consumption. Now the black blood spreads, and from it twisted life grows. Those that imbibe it have their eyes open. They glimpse the unseeming, the corrupted memories of the world's soul that tear at it and cause discord. The war within is an expression that can describe a battle among allied forces, but it can also mean an internal conflict, one of the mind or morals. When Illyria approaches Xal'atath, she says to her, "You lured us here, set us upon the Nerubians." Xal'atath smiles and responds, "All to fuel the Black Blood's power, my power." The words of the last Pandaren Emperor belong here at the end of this video. To fight out of fear or anger is to fight a war that never ends. Face your fears, calm your hatreds, find peace within yourself, so that you may share it with the world around you.